eternal punishment. Many people analyze that God is to be vindictive and evil, but burned badly. It's the people who don't want to follow or walk that God determines. Someone determines that the path should be followed, then it is not wrong, because it is not followed or the path is going wrong. From faith they considered the idea that God creates an inferno for damned sinners. More would it be a literal true? We can see something interesting when Jesus walks on this earth and encounters evil spirits. We can see in Matthew 8:28, that you two demonized Gadarenes fell from Jesus. I came in a state of fury. In Matthew 8:29, they shouted, "What do you want to know, Son of God? Did you come here to torment us before long?" Note that we have two very interesting points, not that they are disseminated. One is that they will define that Jesus would torment them, and the second point that they will define that the time to be tormented was not at that time. Or what haunted the hell? First of all, there are beings that do not sentence, do not have a flesh system, or sensors to cause sleep. A demon can go through fire, or ice, and nothing will happen with such beings. So what would torment such beings? Or that tormenting such beings would be true? It may seem strange, but the beings who like to do or bad, don't like to be told about their mistakes. And it shows. It is that Jesus saw this world show the truth. So is the truth of Jesus that defines two demons as or torment. We read in 2 Peter 2, "For we can see that you sinned, not lost, and also reserved for the day of judgment." But notice that the thermo defines that the word launched not hell. So what judgment would that be if they are not hell? First of all, that or thermo hell content, no text. Or thermo Greek Tartaros. Tartaros is a representation of deep and dark prisons. Places with lack of light. Or that you define everything or meaning so that demons want to be in living bodies. They would momentarily come out of Tartaros, or dark places, and could feel or be human. See that we are not faking physical pains, or places full of fire. We are defining places in which we do not think they would have a lot of time to think, not what they did. This is the location called Bible Tartaros, which is translated by hell. But I know or Tartaros is such a place. Why do you sin that sin? They said, for Jesus rises I see torment you before the time. For this we must understand what is provided in relation to the power of God. For example, when we read the 2 Kings 2:11, we see that Elias got on a fire car with fire horses. In this case, there is no source of food that is in a fire carriage, or that determines that the fire is not going to do anything wrong. Note clearly in the text that there is no problem with the carriage or carriage, in which Elias is entering. We can also read Daniel 7:9. In that age of days he sits on a throne of fire, and fiery fire comes out of roads. Or that it newly determines that or fire is not defined as something to do wrong. We can also read Revelations 4:5, which defines what is the throne goes out fire, and defines what or fire is defined as or spirit of Deus. But in Hebrews 12:29 it clearly says that God is the consuming fire. He also says in John 4:24 that God is spirit, and that he is bound to worship in spirit and truth. Let us read in John 16:8 defines that either spirit convinces the world of sin, and gives justice, and does judgment. And with all these verses it is possible to know that it is the consuming fierce that torments the eyes that sin. You are a body of flesh. That is the fire that will consume you, that will not oil will of God. Much grew up with the idea of physical torture, nothing average, more true than he was a consumer, for those who do not want to oil true. In fact, there is no logic at all of a place of physical torture, in a God defines to love sinners, but defines saying or sin her name. Likewise, every individual who does not accept that of God should be obeyed, will receive the true sin, give justice and judgment, as much as they will sin. All that happened, all that was committed, all the chances they had, all divine work to save, every moment in which the Spirit of God was fighting without heart. So how much more it hardens our heart, the more time it will be to show that it was a good thing. That will be our torment, for those who do not toil the truth, feel tormented when the truth is presented, in all forms and colors. Those who coexist with Jesus in life, will feel more than new from Sodom and Gomorrah than will not bring Jesus to show the goodness of God. And when the Spirit of God, to show all true of those who do not accept the orders of God, it will be shown that these people chose in their heart, to no existence. It is not God who condemns, but the being will condemn himself, as he does not want to live in the only universe that exists, and only exists by the laws of God. There is no other universe, there is no other truth. The truth is absolute and unique, and whoever does not accept the only truth does not wish to exist in the only universe that exists. And that's the final judgment. A judgment in which each one chose their path.
If you are looking for more content from different areas, visit the reformadorstacad.com website. News and detailed content can be found. With system of research and organization of text and video.